From the moment we are born to the moment we die, our stories define that journey. From start to finish, the big wins, the small victories, even the big and small losses are things that define us, and they are what dictate the stories we tell to everyone around us. But let's remove that factor. Let's say you never had those big victories or you never had those grand achievements. Who are you by the end of the day? That's the topic I want to discuss in today's video. When I thought about how storytelling affects every single one of us, our life stories are meaningful, at the same time, meaningless. For the average person, they do the same three things every single day: work, take a shit, and go to sleep. It makes sense because every single one of us, despite the Instagram likes, despite the social media, sometimes to get the best results we want, we live a boring life. But how do we define such boring life? How do we escape this kind of situation we got going on here? In this video, I want to discuss said topic and see how you can become a better storyteller in the life you're living. Hello, if you don't know me, my name is Arnel Arcega. I'm one of the healthiest authors and writers on this platform. As such, I educate people on how to read and write so that they can not only become better writers, but also improve their storytelling abilities in more ways than one. If you want the ability to share that same feat, then check out my Instagram down in the link in the description, as well as my books down there as well. For now, let's discuss the topic of our life stories and how these things define us in more ways than one, but not in the way you think. Life stories are simply that. They are things that happen in our lives that we often explain. I remember getting into a conversation with my teacher about her explaining this meaningful thing that happened over the weekend with her dad. And I remember trying to come up with a similar story, but for the life of me, I couldn't figure out anything. My life, to be perfectly blunt, is pretty simple. I record these YouTube videos, read lots and lots of books, exercise, go to the gym, interact with people, and sleep. It's very mundane, but it gets the success and the drive I want out of this journey. That said, however, I take little notes here and there about the life stories taken out by other people. And when I thought about that, I genuinely started thinking about the way I communicate with people. This channel is used for reading and writing. However, everyone has the stories they need to tell, and that alone can drive stuff such as fiction or nonfiction. When we consider how deep our stories can go, sometimes we don't talk about it because, in truth, we don't know where to begin with it. Because of the fact that we hide things from others and we tell lies, tell secrets, our stories become meaningless. We have interesting things about us, but we aren't willing to share it out, mainly because we simply don't know how to. That's why small talk, once again, is so prevalent in today's society. With the society so accustomed to things such as social media and AI, our own life stories become meaningless because we see the gigantic highs of things such as Instagram and Twitter, seeing how people's lives are living. I remember seeing someone like IShowSpeed being 21 years old and doing all these amazing things, and I just can't imagine how it is to be someone older going to the same 9-to-5 job or doing the same things every single day. While that often builds upon success, you have to understand that if you want the best experience, you need to do something different. To build upon deeper relationships, deeper connections, and deeper stories, you have to be willing to open it up and see what is possible with you. Behind all the masks, behind all the lies, our stories define us because that is what makes us the person we are now. My entire history of my high school years is one that led me to make this video you're watching now. I remember exactly a year ago when I started taking off on YouTube and seeing the first huge hit in views. And over the course of this past year, I've soon realized not only the struggles with it, but how I can be a better storyteller in the long run, how I can implement my own life stories into other people's existence. I never realized how big my own existence mattered to others, because when I sat with my own thoughts and considered how that affects every single one of us, I can tell deeper stories about myself. I went to interact with this girl, and I was trying to get her to talk about her dog. More specifically, I was actually trying to get her to ask about hearing aids because she wore like a very like gem-like hearing aids. But anyways, I tried to ask questions about that, but she wouldn't open up simply because of the approach I was going for. It wasn't going deep enough, if I would say. I kept on pressuring these questions upon questions, and things didn't work out. I never found out the truth, and I simply moved on with my life. It's all up to us to open our own stories with others to prove that we can be human. As my health teacher showed, even though we see someone from this regular mundane basis, the more you realize that there's something and someone behind that face, the more you can open up. We put walls around us because we're afraid to open up. And if we're not willing to do that, then who are we willing to do that with? So talk to me right now. Let's talk about a story in which your life changed forever. In my humble opinion, in cases that you can't talk about it, the easiest way I do this is to simply write about it. The pages are there and you feel the same emotional depth with or without someone there. You can mention his or her name and that will get you all frenzied up. So open up the pen and start writing about how you're feeling. Because if we're not taking the time to open up our own stories, then our life becomes meaningless. We become another doom scroller in the face of an empty company, such as Instagram and Twitter. These things are used to keep us addicted every single day. And if we're not willing to change those habits, then our stories become the same thing every single day. Now, yes, you have to do the same things every single day, the same positive things if you want to generate a better life. But from my own experience, I've understood that if you want to have the best social life, to learn about not just others, but yourself, you have to put yourself out there in how you're going to communicate your stories. Make it clear of what you're talking about. Make the goal you're making real and genuine. I've seen many videos saying you gotta keep what you do to yourself in silence. And while that is true, it is also true to be able to enjoy what you love and enjoy the creations you're making with others. You have the ability to tell any and all kinds of stories. For good and bad, you have an impact upon the world. And it's worse to be nothing than it is to be something. So remember to communicate all those ideas of the stories around you and write what you feel. I'll close this video off with a story of mine when I was starting out journaling a few years ago. I remember getting really emotional writing about a friend of mine who once left me. And I just kept thinking to myself, I wish she was here in my life to this day to see how far I've made it. Because in truth, I'm not even at my peak yet. I'm still growing in more ways than one. And this is another cog in this machine that I'm building. If I'm trying to get to the top of whatever I dream about, whether it's through books, whether it's through YouTube or any other mean that I care, then to simply put, I have to move on and let things go. I just sat there, just tearing up in my chair, crying just for a bit. It's so serious and it's so melodramatic, but the fact that that was years ago now makes me sad to say the least. At the same time, I've also made a lot of good friends, made this entire community of readers, writers, and storytellers, and I'm proud to say that these stories, the ones I've been telling here, is what defines the journey that I've built. So if you want success, if you want the ability to escape the life you are living right now, it's not about leaving those stories behind and knowing that that's what defined you. I hope you enjoyed today's video. This one was a bit of an emotional one for me, but I'm telling you, this is an important video of mine that I hope open your ability up with storytelling. You have the ability to share out all kinds of stories, so remember to keep it relatable and keep it sincere. Check out my Instagram down the link in the description to become a better storyteller, both in the literal and meta way. If you want personal help to write your own stories, it's down there as well, along with my books. I am Arnel Arcega, and until next time, keep on reading, keep on writing, and take care.